We're live. So typically it takes like people, 20 to 30 seconds to sort of come on. People usually have the countdowns. I just like kind of, you know, going into it. But we'll just start. How's everything with you?
Everything's good, actually. Everything's good.
Yeah, no, this is long overdue. When were we originally supposed to do this?
Uh,
Cuz I know both of us forgot, then you forgot, then I forgot,
yeah,
then
probably sometime in 2020, probably,
yeah, you know
or
what? Yeah, no
early
no.
2021.
We were supposed to no, definitely 2020 because I know it's been a
Mhm.
while and I owed you. And you know what the thing is, I've just been so busy. It's like
It's no
tough, man.
problem.
Live it's hard because it's like do I because I don't make money off live, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you got to balance like your business, investing, but you also got to give
Right.
back. So it's always a tough cycle as a as sort of a
Yeah,
career
it's a big
consultant.
balance for everyone now.
Yeah, like look, if I
Since
was
COVID.
rich, like
Hmm.
I'd be doing a lot more of these, right? If I was rich, right? I mean, yeah, look, I'm
Exactly.
okay, but not rich enough. Like I don't got that Jeff Bezos space money yet. But if I
Right.
had that, I'd be doing more of that and all that. So hey, what's up, Travis? What's up, Adam? CC, thanks. Myanmar. We got Craig Davis. Craig Davis is the king of value. His comments and posts are amazing. You guys should check him out. Oh, we got about 15 people. That's interesting. So
Hi, everyone.
and am I allowed to support Junaid or should I? Look, you're Travis. You're allowed to support me. What's up, Stephen G. Pope? Amazing content. So we got some good people in the crowd.
Oh, I can see
But
the comments now.
yeah, you can see the comments, and
Yay.
Stephen has a good TikTok. And Travis, Stephen gives you permission. But let's kind of talk about how we met. So we're in the same. We bought something called a speaker lab. We're in the same. We got
Program.
on a coaching call, and you
Hmm.
were actually the reason that I got my first speaking engagement, right? And I've
Yeah.
actually given it, made some good connections. Who is it? Peter is Peter, right?
Peter. Hmm.
He's no longer working there, but I still keep in touch. Like, I texted him the other day. He's doing well, but it's just
Yeah, I
so
try.
interesting, and then just other people, I kind of go, so just amazing that like helped me get that first one. And, the first
Uh,
ones give you a lot of confidence and all that. So I'll be forever indebted to you. So
and a
that
lot of
thing.
leverage. It gives you a lot of leverage,
Yeah.
and I'm just that kind of person. I'm a each one teach one kind of person. And, we don't lose anything when we give
Yeah.
from abundance, right? From my heart. That's where I give it from. And that's it.
Yeah, no, I love that because oftentimes some people they have that mentality like if I give you something, that means you're taking away. But the thing is, the world's big enough for all of us, right? That like
Yeah.
if you get a resume, that doesn't mean like I lose that resume. It's just like, look, that's more knowledge for you. If I give you a referral, you give me a referral. It's like that helped me, and then as I grow, I help you, and right, it just what goes around comes around. I'm a big believer in that.
Absolutely. And you know what, Janai? Ultimately, we're called to different people. Everyone has a purpose and a calling. And there's so many people out there that need this type of help that no one is taken from anybody's plate.
Yeah,
My clients are completely different, I'm sure, than your clients, right? We're going to draw different people just because we're different,
yeah,
right? Our personalities, our background, it's different,
yeah.
so,
Nah, and plus you know a lot more than me, so
oh boy.
I hope they don't find you because then they'll never use me. So
Oh,
no,
stop it.
you know what? I got to give a shout out to Stephen G. Pope. Like his TikTok videos, he actually shares his whole process of how he's so efficient and how he's so how he just it's amazing. If
Shout out, Steve.
yeah, you go on his TikTok, you just watch all his videos. I guarantee you will have just the crazy business. He knows operations. It sets you apart. Hey, what's up, Kelsey? Always good to see you. Kelsey's just so let's kind of really talk about women in the workplace, right? Because
Hmm.
look, I know a lot about women in the workplace, but I've learned it through other women and their
Hmm.
experiences, right? It's like I
Hmm.
don't have the same. Yeah, maybe some of my experiences are shared, but some of them will be very
Right.
unique, right? Like a lot of the things, like I see the things that women how what people say to them, and just the interactions. It's just different, right? How, there's a common saying where it's like, if a guy negotiates, they're seen as confident, and a woman negotiates, they're seen as bossy, or a certain other negative
Or
connotation. So,
mean.
or mean, or
Hmm.
all that. And then sometimes, there are other women who sort of, I've seen, some women have the issue where it's like the woman in the office is actually their biggest problem, right? Not
Yes.
necessarily. And then, there are other things like I've seen that happens is, there's favoritism, right? Like, if like I've seen it all the time, right? Like, you're an
Mhm.
attractive woman, it's like you get treated differently versus you're an older woman, right? Who may not be as
Yeah.
attractive, or just
Hey,
I've seen so
hey,
many things.
older women are hot too, okay?
No, no, no. Look, I know that, but like I've just seen it happen, right? But that there are
Yeah.
certain biases, and then just other things that like people have to navigate. Like I've seen, like, for interviews, a guy should wear a ring or a band, right? Because then he's like, he's more
Well,
go getting. He has someone to support, and a woman shouldn't, right? There's some things like you shouldn't, because then they think like, I got a chance with her. I don't know. Guys are
let
weird.
me explain that a bit. Actually, let me just explain who I am first. I'm
Yeah,
Arlene Peterson. I'm a former chief diversity officer, now career consultant and business consultant. I do executive resumes. I do grant writing for small businesses. I'm all about helping emerging leaders advance in the workplace. So from what I've seen and all the statistics, so there's a lot of hands-on experience I have, but also statistics that shows that CEOs who are married make more money. That's an actual statistic. So that's why that explains the thing about the wedding band that you just said that you should on an interview. That you heard that men should show their wedding band, and it's the opposite for women.
yeah,
Because women are constantly placed in kind of a nurturer
yeah, yeah,
position, right? So women are expected to be the counselor at the job, no matter your level, right?
yeah,
You're
yeah,
expected
yeah.
to listen to everybody's problems, and whether they're men or women or whoever, you're expected to be in that role and take on less of a masculine role. But the truth is, by and large, statistics shows that and more anecdotal evidence with women's comments from surveys show that essentially when it comes down to a lot of women operating in what some may call their masculine energy to get the promotion, to get to negotiate. And I believe that you can have a good balance, right?
Yeah.
I do
No, of
believe
course.
I can fully be a woman
Yeah.
and know how to negotiate, and I do, and that's what I teach my clients, and how to move up, learn how to negotiate and speak up for yourself in a non-threatening way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
also, figure out what the problem is. Sometimes there's an underlying issue as to why you're not being promoted. And let's face it, Janai, most people are not, most supervisors are not just going to say, let me give you a promotion because you're working so hard. You're
No, no.
you're
I
such
wish
a
it was that.
hard
I
worker.
wish it should be like that, right? It should be, but no, 100%. You
Right.
have to, like, kind of go fight for yourself, and you're gonna say, look,
Right. It would be
I deserve.
nice.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
look, at my place, I just promote, like, me. They don't have to have that conversation, only because I found that, you know what? There's so much great talent who doesn't
Hmm.
know how to advocate for themselves, and if you
Yeah.
become that advocate, you end up with an organization where people actually feel comfortable, because it's uncomfortable at some points
Yes.
advocating for yourself, especially the first time. Like, you're like, am I gonna lose? Because there's so many people who are scared to negotiate because they think they're gonna lose their job. It's like, no, go negotiate. Your boss is just gonna say no, and that's
Yeah.
it. He's not gonna
That's
fire
the
you.
worst that can actually happen. Even during an offer,
Yeah,
as little as it's known, they're not usually going to take back the offer unless it's such a high amount
yeah.
that it's almost disrespectful. It would have to
And
be
then
like that
also,
to lose the
look,
offer.
and then also the thing is, if you negotiate and they rescind the
Hmm.
offer, that's the biggest. Like, you, even if you don't want a higher salary, you should just negotiate just to see if they rescind the offer, because that's just the biggest red flag of all
Right.
time. Like, they're the type that you come in 2 minutes late, and all of a sudden you're written up and all that stuff. Like, you don't
Right.
want an organization that's strict. It just doesn't make sense.
They're looking by the door with a notepad like
Yeah. No, like I'll
8:05.
yeah. 8:05. Like why'd you come in? No, and you really have to. Yeah, so it's like advocating for yourself, advocating for those around
Mhm,
you, and I always think it's good to get like a woman's perspective because
mhm.
just like you said. So, what are some other interesting things that it's like, I know the wedding band thing, right? That's like, it's sad, but you got to play the game so you can get in. And then when it's your turn, that you can actually change the environment, right? Because unfortunately, you
Yeah.
have to kind of, in the beginning, until you get enough experience to the point where your voice is respected, you kind of have to play the game, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? As a former chief diversity officer and 50488 coordinator, I know I'm going to say things that you don't expect me to say on here. So I'm just going to give that little,
Yeah,
caveat. Um, as a career consultant, I have to be realistic with people, and that's what gets them the high level, high paying
yeah,
90K, 100K up jobs. One thing that sometimes I see people doing in the mock interviews, they come to me like they're really going to interview. I tell them the plan like it's
yeah,
really an interview. And I had one client. I told her right out, it looks like you're wearing a prom dress. I mean, I said, even though
yeah,
I could see you from up here, it has ruffles around
yeah,
here.
yeah.
I was like, no, you're making yourself look older than you should, because we know that age discrimination is a thing. And in
Hundred
fact, the
percent.
law starts at age 40.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that means our country believes you're old starting age 40,
No, you're
right?
still young. You're
That
still young.
yeah, that's why they made the law that way, though.
Yeah,
So you don't want to make yourself look older in an interview with how you dress. That's one thing. Two, before you even get in the door of an interview, on the resume, um, if you know you're applying to a company where you'll be the first this, the first that, the first that, you can lessen some of those diversity committees, diversity and inclusion, this, African American this, Hispanic heritage this, Latina X that. If you were on 10,000 of those committees, you don't need that many, Janiyah,
yeah,
on your resume because FYI, many, I'm not going to say most, I don't know all, right?
yeah,
Hiring managers and all companies have different cultures,
yeah,
but many, it's kind of known amongst diversity recruiters,
yeah,
us and regular recruiters, that they kind of look at that as, hey, that might be a problem person.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
going to be the person to raise a red flag about everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That is what they think, unfortunately.
yeah,
So if you have a whole host of those
yeah,
committees,
yeah,
you don't need that many to say, hey, I love people, I love everybody, I love
yeah, yeah.
diversity and inclusion, and I'm a team player. You don't
You,
need
you know what's
10.
funny? I was reading something online on Reddit, and this guy said his black coworker, all he did was he added like diversity and inclusion extra on his resume. He said his calls, his like interview rates doubled and tripled. So it's just great. I'm all about sharing like all the little details, and
It
no,
doubled and tripled when he added it to his resume.
yeah. Because I think they just, like some companies, they need, look,
They,
I've seen it
you
happen where it's like they need someone who's different, who's a minority, and they don't have anybody. So you got to get
and
this
and that
expert.
and look, you just said it. That is how they know many times you're a minority. I've seen it where it's tripped up people, and a white guy would come in with an interview, and he was a faculty member, and he taught African American studies, right? They
Yeah.
thought they were being more diverse by hiring that faculty member, and then he comes to, not hiring, but interviewing him, and then he comes to the interview, and he's fully white,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Not just looks white, he identifies as white as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny and interesting because like it goes back to what I said before. You have to know the culture of the company. If and I started with saying if you know it's a company where you'll be first this, first that, you can lessen some of those committees. But it
Yeah.
in this, it's a CDO's field year, not day, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like it's the best year ever for CDOs. The best, it's going to be the next 2, 3, 5 years. CDOs are going to still be in demand.
No, of course, and I
So,
and I think it's good. Like change is slow and it's important because it's like because a lot of people think like it's like race based, but oftentimes it's a larger philosophy base, right? That
mhm.
you want all different types of people with different backgrounds, different experiences, because you really comes down to experiences, right? That
Right.
you don't want all like, just because you're black and you went to like a but you went to a private school, you went to a certain, and you grew up a certain way, you played crew, you played golf, you're different than like a black person that grew up in my neighborhood. It's like you're very different. Like, even in a lot of places, right? I'm Bengali, but I don't necessarily identify with someone who plays golf, who grew up somewhere,
Right.
and who's gonna get his a house passed down. It's just different. So these are things that a lot of people just really have to understand. And I don't identify like when people go in and they're talking about, yeah, I'm gonna play golf on the weekend and this and that, and it's like, well, I gotta make some more money because my parents are getting old, and
I
I
got
gotta make
that.
sure
I
they're
got
taking.
that extra job. I got to pick up more clients,
Yeah,
or
yeah, or I'm working on my business because it's like,
right,
look, I need to secure that money because I don't have these assets being passed down, right? It's a totally different experience, and it's one of those things that I can't even talk about. Like, sir, like you just feel like you don't belong in the sense of like, look, I've been working since I was like 13, right? I never went to camps. Like my parents couldn't afford camps. Like I see these kids going to camp. It's like camps. It's like I was trying to work. I
you
went
didn't have the
to the
free camp
no, I didn't. Like my parents didn't even know about it. They like, immigrant parents. They put what little money
or
they had into
information.
tutoring,
Yeah.
or and my summers were spent at the park. My uncle bought me my PS2 because my parents was not gonna buy it for me, and it's just, I grew up differently, right? Like it's like I
Yeah.
grew up like I grew up NYC in the Jamaica area. It's like, look, I got robbed several times, right? Like that's like my experience. It's a
So
different.
basically, you grew up like me, Janai. You grew up like a West Indian, except you're not West
Yeah,
Indian.
yeah. I mean, I'm Bengali, so it's like I
Well,
could pass off as West
you
Indian,
could,
depend.
you
Yeah,
could Indo-West Indian,
yeah,
Afro-West Indian. We all kind of, look similar, and that's the thing too. Harvard has done, I think, the most studies on differences in outcomes of
yeah,
African American students versus Caribbean American students attending school and then their career trajectory. So, like you were saying, there are differences that have been measured,
yeah,
and it's a real thing. There, that's a whole other conversation.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
I wanted to say I agree with I think it was Alan.
Yeah, he
Um,
brought up CDOs aren't always set up for success, and there's a high turnover rate already because oftentimes you're just bringing it. Boards like, hey, we need to look good for PR purposes. We hire someone, and
exactly.
then they get no buy-in because they always like. Because I know how these high-level conversations are. What's the ROI? What's the ROI? Why are we going to invest in
Mhm.
this? Why are we going to invest in this? Is this going to make money next quarter? Is this going to affect the share price? And it's so hard because these are things that have long-term impacts. They ask these same questions and then they wonder, hey, why can't we attract good talent?
Right.
Why does our board look a certain way? Why do the people getting promoted all look a certain way? And it's like they ask both sides of the question. They ask like this and they ask like that, and there's a big disconnect. And I see it all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, a lot of CDOs don't have the resources even after they're hired, and
Yeah,
they are challenged with influencing from a weaker position. You have to really know how, know the power of persuasion and influencing from the bottom, which is a real skill.
yeah,
And you can perfect that skill. You can do it. I've had to do it. But in other places, other companies, they really do respect their chief diversity officer. They pay them well and they give them staff.
yeah.
That's one of the most important things, that they have a budget. Some don't even have a budget,
Oh,
Janine, to do anything.
how do you do
And then they're
something
like, "What
without
are
a
you
budget?
doing? What are you doing?"
Yeah, yeah. Where are the numbers? Where are the numbers? No. So I
Right.
want to kind of go into something because this is something
Hmm.
I like because I have a lot of women clients and I can't help them as much in this area
Hmm.
dressing for an interview. Like as a guy, it's like, look, wear your navy or gray suit, wear the tie, white blue shirt, nice dress shoes, belt, right? Easy and or whatever, casual. Like, what's a woman like? Can we talk about that? Because you would know.
Yeah, I said, I think that, women um identifying as women should look feminine, but also strong. So I remember one suit that I wore way back when I was a new professional in higher education. It was like a gray, and it was a gray suit,
Yeah,
and I had like it was like a pinstripe blue. Now, blue is my favorite color, right? So
Yeah.
I would say wear or work in your favorite color somewhere because colors do matter. You know, we all learned that maybe in psychology, and I have a whole degree in
Yeah.
psychology. So I would tell you colors matter a lot on any interview. So any type of interview. So I would wear the color that is my favorite color because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel better when I wear it. And I would wear something, of course, gray, brown, black. I know the colors that fit my skin tone. I'm wearing yellow. Yellow fits brown skin tones
Yeah.
very well. Certain types of uh I want to say reds, but kind of ruby reds, like an inner shirt, like an inner
Yeah. Yeah.
blouse,
Yeah.
but a black, maybe black suit. But I actually don't recommend black suits a lot. You know, the
Yeah. Yeah.
person can come and wear what they want to wear, and then I'll critique what they're wearing
Yeah.
because, as you know, as part of my job, I was an investigator investigating discrimination, sexual harassment cases, and I had to study body language as a result. So I'm more critiquing their body language with what they're wearing.
Yeah.
But I would say, yeah, skirt suit is good. You know, of course, not too short because they're gonna think
Yeah.
you're coming for something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, pumps, of course, neutral pumps are good for any occasion. Navy, right? But black on black on black on black,
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I know the rule
recommend
for guys. Like, I tell guys don't wear a black suit because black for guys is wedding and funerals. Women can get
that.
away with the black suit. And again, it's not like, hey, if you wear a black suit, you can't get the interview. It's just these are things that just to be mindful of because people have things, right? They associate, like, the Navy comes across as more professional, right? Comes
Hmm.
across as a certain way. And people, again, most of the time they show that most people have an idea of whether or not they want to hire you after the first 5 to 10 minutes, right? So after
Yeah.
that, it's just they already basically how you come in, the body language, your confidence, and your first two answers, and all of a sudden they made a decision, right? So this
And
is
and that's why you wear colors that you're confident in,
yeah, no, very true,
right?
very true.
Because you, like you said, confidence matters a lot. Well, the colors that you wear and the structure of the suit. So for my um maybe let's use regular words, okay? I don't have time to
Yeah,
pepper it with nice,
yeah,
diversity
yeah,
inclusion,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
appropriate words. If you have a box shape or you're thicker than a snicker, you know what I
yeah,
mean, and you're shaped very doom doom doom,
yeah,
whatever you call it nowadays, Janaya, I don't know.
yeah. I don't know.
You're
Yeah,
curvaceous,
yeah,
okay?
voluptuous.
You Yeah, voluptuous. You want to wear things that um flatter your shape. So you can Google that because there's so many different suits and blouses that fit a certain shape. Like
Yeah,
peplum is good for curvier women, but you don't want to wear the short peplum shirts, you know what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean? Or you can wear a peplum blouse and then the suit is more of a line kind
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
suit. You know what I mean?
No, no, 100% because I've read a lot of comments of like women who are like interviewing and they're like, look, I can't even wear a regular shirt because some or certain types of shirt like they can't wear because all of a sudden they're just seen as like, hey, you come to the club, you come to that. It's like no, it's very hard
Right.
to sort of find clothes that that are not oversized T-shirts, right?
Hmm.
And so nah, I mean,
The clothes in the store are fit to a certain body
yeah,
type.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you have to get accustomed with shopping where, or getting at least getting your suits where they would typically fit if you're 14 or 16. Go to those stores because they would typically know they're familiar with the shapes that are a little bit thicker.
yeah, yeah,
So they're gonna cut it differently than
yeah,
if you go to a regular department store or wherever and just pick up any old suit that looks nice.
yeah. No, yeah. So now I feel bad for women in the sense of like the shoes. I feel like it's like tough because heels, like I know they just hurt. Like it's like it's
They
work,
do.
right? So it's like tell me more about the shoes. Like what are the sizes that are appropriate for the workplace?
Well, wear your size. That's the first thing here,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
Maria? You gotta wear your size. Um, I wear different types of shoes in the workplace when I was in the workplace.
Well, this is more
I
interview. Let's do more interview, right?
pumps.
Pumps.
Always pumps. I wouldn't do open toe. I don't care if you have the most beautiful toes. It's a distraction.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, women who are interviewing you, it's gonna be a distraction because they're gonna see your nail color is nice, or if it's not.
yeah,
Women look at other women's,
yeah.
nails and their kind of their
Accessories.
presentation
Yeah, yeah.
more so I think than men
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, guys. You
That's
know,
a
tell guys
that's a
that.
whole other.
Yeah, yeah. Guys don't know what nail color it is. That's all that. No, very true.
Yeah. Like, oh, I like your nails, girl. No, it's just too much of a distraction. Earrings, I wouldn't even wear these on an interview. I wouldn't
Yeah,
wear you can wear studs, uh, but I wouldn't wear any usually because I don't want it to hook onto my hair or anything weird like that. I don't want
yeah,
weird stuff happening on my interview.
yeah. You wanna be in
Which
control. You wanna be in control,
yeah,
comfortable, less things to think about, less distract. And sometimes the distractions are for you. Like you're like, oh, I stuck in my shirt. Like and then that impacts your confidence, and then that
hmm
impacts how you answer it. Right? It's like a chain effect. And then Laquetta, please let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. She wears shoes comfortable and professional, and then Cheryl says comfortable and professional because a lot of times how you feel is absolutely the most important. If you feel
yeah,
confident, you feel comfortable. That's how you're because to make yourself as comfortable as possible and to make yourself be the best version of yourself, you need to feel super comfortable during the interview. And if you're comfortable, that's when the best version of you shines out, right?
exactly.
And that's why the confidence is so important.
Because it's one less thing to think about. Let's be
Yeah.
real. If your toes hurt, your feet hurt, and your toes like they're
Ah.
scrunching up like this, you cannot think about what the next question is. Especially
Yeah,
when they
yeah,
do those compound questions, 2 and 1.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
have to keep track. You have to
yeah,
keep track of what they just asked you.
yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
it's Laqueta. Okay, Laqueta. Sorry, Laqueta. Thank you for. I'm very sensitive to how people
phonetically
pronounce their
spelling it
name
out.
because
Yeah.
mine is like spelled. I don't know, passport translation or something. I was born in Bangladesh. How they my parents misspelled my name or whatever. So
Hammer too.
yeah, yeah.
Kelsey. Yes,
So
Kelsey.
yeah, no. So that's important. So something
So like
pumps.
Clark's, Janaya, just to add to that,
Yeah,
Clark's and they're not paying me or anything. I'm just saying like Easy, I think it's called Easy Spirit or Easy
yeah,
something. Those usually have built-in cushions,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but they also have a pointy, heels. They have
yeah, yeah.
2 inch, 3 inch, yeah.
Yeah.
So they still
Now,
look
what
feminine.
about so this is where I get a little tough. What about the tech interviews for women? Right? Because tech has a more relaxed. Like I know guys, you could go with the button up and jeans, right? For the tech interview, right? The suit is kind of, the more startup culture, the more friendly. What does a woman wear for those type of
Yeah, so
interviews?
I think here's what my advice is usually for the different types of interviews. So I was going to say even earlier, it's not all interviews, right? Because the more creative design
Yeah,
interviews, things like that in those industries, you want to look up online at how their employees dress now.
yeah,
And you don't want to dress exactly like them. You want to dress slightly
yeah.
a
Above
little more professional than them. So if they're way
t-shirts,
casual, you want to do business
polo.
casual.
Yeah, like a polo or
Yeah,
something.
khakis, polo, you're a man or a blouse and maybe khakis and some heels. That's still cute, you know. Um Especially if you're in southern states, things change,
Yeah,
right? Where you are or with the type of interview you're going to. If you're going to an interview with executives, you should probably always do some kind of suit or
yeah, yeah.
if you're in Texas like I am, you're going to do a nice blouse with fitted pants and some heels. You're not going to do a full suit because you're going to be the one
Hot.
probably stinking in there. You're
Yeah,
going to be
yeah,
hot and then somebody's going to be smelling, you know what I mean? You don't want it to be you.
yeah, yeah. No,
Just be
I mean,
straight up and let them know you mean business and want to have a mutual okay, yeah.
that's good
Yeah, some
advice.
people are not straight up in their interviews and you can tell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I mean interviews is and there's a lot of who interviews you that day, the mood of the interviewer, if you remind them of someone they knew, whether that's a good person, but there's so many
that
factors.
might be
Unfortunately,
bad, yeah,
yeah,
or good.
and
Hmm.
So Cheryl asks, what about a virtual interview?
Yeah, virtual interviews, same thing. You want to take extra measures, extra precautions. You want to set up ahead of time, way ahead of time, not like me tonight. You want
Yeah,
to, get your lighting set up ahead of time. You know the space that you're going to be in, not have too many distractions like pictures in the background. You
yeah,
see that I have nothing. So no one can, they can only pull on what I'm showing them. Um, sometimes people have plants and like maybe some kind of shelf ladder. I'm sorry, yeah, like a bookshelf
yeah,
ladder type thing in the back of them. And they might have some books, but they might turn it around. So, like, that's an actual
yeah,
design in the design space, right? You can turn around and stack books
yeah,
in the opposite direction so people don't see the titles. Um, Maybe one or two candles, but not like you're
yeah,
doing
yeah,
seances or nothing like that in the back, you know. But I'd
yeah. No,
rather have nothing. That's what I tell my people. And you want to have a chair that allows you to sit upright, have your posture be good. And also, check your angles before you get on.
yeah. No, you know what's another thing? Virtual interviews, lighting is super important. What a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't understand is, look, I'm gonna actually change my lighting. I'm gonna turn off my lighting, and now you see the quality is a lot lower. It's not as
Yeah.
clear. It's a little grainy. It makes a big difference. So lighting, the position of the camera, I think is very important. So
Right.
now it's look instant. Like look, I was like a 5, now I'm a 7. So so it
Now
makes
you're
a
a
big difference.
7, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So now I'm a 7, and all those things, and you want to kind of be like, especially look, if you're older, I think camera position is very important because there's the stereotype of like a camera old person. You see like their nose, right? Because they're just kind of looking down. You don't want to come right. You know what I'm talking about when they get on a
Oh, the nose
webcam.
hairs, you don't want, yeah.
Well, not
You want
no,
to
not that.
position it
Like when
like
they
that.
when well, no, it's just when the person logs on and they have no idea this is their first time using a webcam, and
Oh,
they're like like the person is like, oh, this this person doesn't know how to
oh
use a
man. The other thing, Janai, no filters. Like always
Oh,
check way. That's why you got to check way ahead. Remember that
yeah, yeah,
viral video with the man, the lawyer that was like a cat,
yeah, yeah.
and he was so nervous and his eyes were darting all over the place. Like, I'm not a cat. I'm not a cat. I'm not a cat. That was hilarious to me.
Yeah. No, so lighting is super important. Camera position is
Yeah.
actually important. So I think like if you have an external webcam, it's good to
Hmm.
kind of do it so it's right. You're kind of looking at the interviewer, right? Because I could have my camera position and you're looking up, looking down, and again, these subtle things, it's like they'll feel like you're talking to them, right? Versus like
Right.
looking around. So you just want to be a little mindful of that. Like so I have my camera position, so like if I'm looking at you, it looks like I'm talking
Mhm.
to the audience, right? This is a live interview,
Right.
virtual live, a LinkedIn live, a live stream. That's what I meant to say.
I
So
don't think I'm looking in a if I look in a camera, I look like this.
well,
I
not
don't.
in the not. Well, no, but I think your position is still good. It's not like there's sometimes where your webcam's like really high up, like the external ones, or they have
Uh-huh.
it like over there. So it's like a
Right.
little weird, right? Like
It's
you're talking to someone's
yeah.
like right cheek or
Yeah, they're
something, and
trying to. Yeah.
so you want. I think that's important.
Hmm.
And then yeah, I think lighting is something super important. So it's one of those things like, and trust me, you could get creative. Like if you got to use a flashlight, hang it on somewhere for a
Right.
temporary
Right.
time, and
But
just
the
kind
ring
of.
lights are not that expensive.
They're
As
not.
soon
You
as
could get a
I could,
fifteen
I got
dollar,
one
fifteen
that was
dollar,
good.
20, $30 ring light makes a world of difference. So those are
Hmm.
things. And then again, confidence is very important. I generally recommend wear what you actually think would to an actual interview because that impacts your confidence. Like not everyone can
Yeah.
have like the sweats and have the same level of confidence. So you have to
Right.
again feel comfortable, feel the things. Like I've seen some people, they do their nails, they do how they would in an actual interview because they need to. Some people, they need to feel like I could do the interview in the blazer and sweatpants, right? And I could rock
Hmm.
it, but that's not everyone. Some people need to feel like you're. Again, they show that one of the benefits of having uniforms is it actually changes your professionalism, right? That you think
Right.
differently, so you have to really know yourself and then figure out what makes you the most comfortable.
And I would actually say that even when you're doing a virtual interview, to put on, you know, regular pants that you would wear to an interview.
Yeah,
Don't do boxers.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
do leggings. you know what I mean? Like I got on now.
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah,
don't do that because the minute you have to get up for some unexpected reason,
yeah,
boom.
yeah. No, so look, I mastered getting up in my boxers and them not seeing my box. Like I make sure my camera.
You
You have to know
master
these things.
it.
Yeah, look. I
You
get
got
up.
it is
I'm
kind of
only
like
over here.
slide
Look,
to the.
I'm only over
I think
here.
I can do it, but you
Yeah,
might.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, I don't want to do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't do it now. Don't do it
If I
now.
mess up, it's not gonna be good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but it's like those things, and then you want to just be again. You want to be mindful of these things. And look, I'm gonna tell you, even having an external microphone or like having
Hmm.
some like a headset that has better sound quality because it makes a
Hmm.
big difference in how you sound. Like a lot of people are like, wow, your sound is so good. And again, they're gonna judge you. They're gonna judge you as more professional. And the ring again, when they see you a certain way, this is their only interaction of you. They're gonna the biases come out. They're gonna just be like, oh, this person's a better fit because oh yeah, they said good answers, but it's really like you come in
Right.
with a crystal clear camera, they're just gonna be
Right.
like, whoa,
I can hear you clearly, everything. I mean, I have an audio,
yeah,
a lapel,
yeah,
speakers
yeah,
have lapels and I have a headset somewhere, but I find that I don't need it. I usually listen back to the videos and people can hear me very clearly, but it is much better if you have it. But if you don't know how to work it,
Yeah.
then don't do that because you don't want to
No,
have
agree.
echoes and
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
You don't want to feel weird when you're doing it,
Yeah, yeah.
when you're
Always do
responding.
a practice session with a friend. So look, I changed my microphone, and you see, like I sound so different,
Yeah, you
right?
sound
So you
completely
see,
different.
it's completely different, and then it's like one of those things that you don't think about, but people always comment, and like I sound way cooler, like the radio voice with when I'm
I
in the
don't know. I don't like it that much. To
really.
be honest. I like the other one better.
no, this one you like this one better.
Yeah, because you
This
know
this
what?
is the microphone. So that what I switched to was a
Oh,
webcam. So this is the
oh,
radio.
really?
Yeah, so I switched to the webcam temporarily because to show the difference of like how that sound makes, right? And again, how you sound has a big difference because again, you lose a lot of the body language aspect when you're
Mm-hmm.
interviewing virtually. But now it's like that. Now it's like I have more control. I sound more professional, right? So these things make a
Right,
difference. And then sometimes even like a $20-$30 mic just makes a world of difference.
right. Yeah, the one you have now is the mic you have now is allowing for the bass to come through in your voice. When you had just a webcam, it kind of sounded a little more not squeaky, but like it was too light for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you already have kind of like, if you're told by people that you have a whiny voice or
Yeah, yeah.
like a high voice, then you want to put some bass in it so that, if you can't do it naturally, then yes, a microphone would be best to carry the
Yeah.
sound properly.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
again, even having some headsets, right? They make a big difference. Like that, I have a headset. Even my headset has a mic. I'm not using
Right.
it, but all these things again, test it well beforehand. So when you show up, they're like, wow, like I need this person on the sales calls. I need this person in the meetings, and there's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's something funny I actually learned. Like apparently having a British accent is like in meeting. I was reading that they were like,
It's
hey,
beautiful.
it's like yeah, so it's one of those things like if you have a British accent then you just have it because my business partner was telling me he's like hey when he started working he was like hey yeah that guy sounds bright and his boss was like hey listen it's the British accent it makes a big difference like
Yeah. It's one, women think that it's attractive, okay?
yeah
Two, men just think that you're smarter.
yeah
Much like putting on glasses. People
oh
tend to
yeah
think you look smarter. Like she's gonna be in the office 24/7. She's not
yeah
gonna
yeah
leave at 5. You know what I mean?
yeah yeah
Glasses make you look
yeah they
more
just study I think
intelligent.
you have a higher chance people with glasses so if you got the
They've done
glasses.
many studies.
Yeah, so if you got the
Many.
glasses, get like zero prescription, whatever. All these things, like
Mhm.
you got to play the game, and then when you get in, just you be like, "Haha, got you."
Gotcha. You know
No,
what?
but then yeah,
That is true. I mean, I had long locks. I had locks
yeah,
for, I think you met me when I had, no, did you? I don't know. I had long locks for like 10 years.
yeah,
And I took them out at the top of 2018.
yeah, yeah,
And someday I mostly had it up. I used to have it in a wrap.
yeah,
I mean, these locks were past my hips.
yeah,
And I used to always have it wrapped up. My hairdresser would do many different styles and everything. But when I took it out, the days that I took it out, listen, I already got a job. I'm years
Yeah.
in. They were like, "Oh my God." I just look like power to the people, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
look
yeah.
like super conscious Black woman, and they just could not believe it. And, I would get the comments, of course, like, "Oh my God, your hair is so intricate." And
yeah,
I thought it was hilarious, but most of the time I would tell people, even this, I wouldn't have my hair like this on an interview. I would probably, try to put it all back in a
yeah,
way. And I would have it, this is a totally different look
yeah, yeah,
than having my hair out. Now you
yeah,
can
yeah,
focus on, my facial features, and you can just focus on what my response is, right? Versus like, oh, the color of her hair,
yeah.
she has curly hair, or she has straight hair, or she has wavy hair, and we know that's the thing. A whole law had to be made not to
Yeah.
discriminate against especially Black women because of their hair, because that does happen. I know you probably
Yeah.
don't want to get this serious on it,
No, no, I
on
want to
here,
get this serious.
Janai.
No. I want to get this serious because these are things
Mhm.
that a lot of people don't know that they judge people on. I want to be to the
Yeah,
point where it doesn't matter what type of hair you wear. Because look, here,
right.
like my two business partners are Jamaican, and we always
Hmm.
joke. We're like, look, I want to see a guy with dreads in corporate,
Hmm.
right? Because it's like every time a guy with dreads, they're like, yo, that's a UPS man, and it's like
Right.
it's true, like. You see it, like they always got to work in alternative industries. And my business
Hmm.
partner actually got this advice, like when he was going, they were like, "Hey," he was trying to grow out his hair, and it was like, "Hey,
Hmm.
look," he's like, someone high up, actually a Black woman, told him, she was like, "Hey, you gotta keep your hair short if you're trying to break in." To
Mm.
like something, and he did it. Now he broke in. Now he has a little more flexibility, but there's a certain image that certain things, certain groups have, and if you're
Right.
a minority, you can't. I like again, you don't see people with braids and dreads in corporate, and it's not like there aren't Black people in corporate. It's just, again, the culture doesn't support it, unfortunately, and it's like it has no impact on your workability.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, the Crown Act. But here's the thing. Like, that's what I was mentioning, the Crown Act earlier. But here's the thing. We have laws. People still discriminate. And
Yeah,
you will
yeah,
never know. And it's
you'll
hard
never
to
know.
prove sometimes. Listen, I'm someone who used to handle those types of cases. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, it's hard to prove sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
And where it's easy to prove, it's just because some manager did a really stupid thing,
yeah. They
right?
post it on social
Like,
media. They post it
they
on
were
social
so
media.
like blatant, right? So
Yeah,
it's very frustrating for the employees. So what I teach them is how to get around this system. A lot of people don't like us being Black and brown folks being real with people and telling them, hey, we're not telling you to compromise who you are. We're saying these are some things that you need to do to break in. Do you
yeah,
see us all the way at the top? Most of the time, not. Right? I can give you percentages, but we don't got time for
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Most of the time you don't. Like you said, Janaya, how many times do you see someone with long locks at the top of a company? Well, many times they'll wrap up their hair anyway
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they're managers, but as an executive, you don't see
yeah.
that a
Never.
lot in the
Yeah.
C-suite,
Nah,
right?
I want to see someone with dreads in the CC. So that's what I want to see.
That's what
I
I
want to
want
see
to see
things.
too.
I want to see. So,
That's where
thank
I
you.
want to work.
Unfortunately, I could go on for an hour. I got a meeting in a minute.
Yes.
Put some hearts, put some likes. Connect with Arlene. I'm gonna tag her. We'll do more of this. I like sharing real info because it's like, look, I'm learning. I know the audience is learning. I hope all of you got some good, info, and
Tips.
then just use it. Be the person that realizes that these things happen and be the change. Be it so that these are things that are non-issues, right? And it's more about
Mhm.
the people who come in front of you. And
Right.
it's a long thing, and I want to see more women. I want to see like the top just looks like the United Nations, just like you see all
Yes.
types, right? And that the person belongs there, right? And
That's
that
our
they
hope.
didn't have a hard roadblock. So
Right.
appreciate this. Thank you,
Feel free to
Brienne.
follow me also on
Yeah,
IG and
follow.
Arlene
So
Speaks.
if you need her thing, send me a message. I'll tag her for you. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I have to end this, but you know what? We'll do this again, and it won't take as long as it
We'll
took
do
this,
it
right?
again.
We'll do
Yeah,
it
we can
again.
talk about the
And
laws, anything.
yeah, and if any of you have any questions that you want Arlene to cover next time, send it to me, and I'll compile it, and then we can be a little more targeted. But this was so much fun.
It was.
I can't wait to see you again whenever you're in New York City, and we'll
Thank you,
keep you updated.
Janaya.
So have a good one.
All right, you
And
too.
all right,
Bye-bye.
thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody. Be